I think I'm just getting soft in my old age. I think my hormones are out of whack.
Slow T, man. Slow T.
I put this weird stuff on my armpits, but it's weird. I didn't do anything. It does cause my wife's pregnancy test to show a false positive, though, which is strange. None of this is true. The crying is.
What's up, folks, and welcome to another episode of Real Amigos. If you don't know where you are, this is a movies podcast. If you like movies, you are in the right place. My name is Chris, and I will be one of the hosts as we jump into a discussion about a very interesting movie, which we will get to in a few minutes. But joining me, as always, are my two co-hosts. Let's start with Phil. Phil, what's up, man? How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for starting with me this time, Chris. It makes me feel special.
Yeah, I wanted to shake it up a little bit, give you a little of the, the honor that you're due. You know what I mean?
Is this like a birthday present?
That's right. Well, no, at this point, it's not still a birthday present.
Okay. Well,
Happy late birthday.
Happy late birthday. If you guys didn't know, Phil had a birthday, and
40.
40. That other voice you hear, by the way, is Donnie. Donnie, what's up, man?
Oh, not much. How are you?
Oh, man, I'm
chilling out over here in Jacksonville.
Good. I don't think our listeners, I think they were worried. They didn't know where you were, so I'm glad that you.
They might have thought I was in jolly old Mexico, but nope. I'm in Jacksonville.
You definitely have the
jolly
the attire. The attire.
Yeah, man, that's what I always heard it called.
We're going to be talking about an interesting movie that I have some thoughts about. But before we get there, you guys have heard our short last week, but between the short and this show, we dropped a spoiler cast because we all went and saw Avengers Infinity War. So if you are subscribed to our channel, you've already just probably seen or heard that because it popped up like it would any other show. But if you have not subscribed and you are interested in our thoughts on Infinity War, which we had a lot of them, we would encourage that you would go back and check that out. That would be great. And again, obviously it is a spoiler cast, so don't do that unless you've actually seen the movie, because we absolutely ruin everything.
It is ruined.
It is ruined as can be. So that's all of that. We are going to talk about movies here in a second. Just want to kind of make sure that we aren't missing anything else. Guys, have you seen any other movies besides Infinity War lately?
I have seen several.
Anything worth talking about? What you got?
Oh, let me see here. I watched, I went back and watched Unbreakable.
Oh, man.
Which I enjoyed tremendously.
Still my favorite M. Night movie.
Yeah, I think it's Kimmy Schmidt.
No, but I know what you're saying. Good joke. I got it.
Good joke. Thumbs up.
Thumbs up from me. That was one of the ones I watched. I went back and watched Mission Impossible Rogue Nation in preparation for the next Mission Impossible. And those are really good. I love the Mission Impossible movies, as I've said before.
Really good. Yeah, Rogue Nation was great. I mean, they're all good, man. I mean, I think.
Oh, they are.
I think Mission Impossible 2 missed
a little bit. That's the weak link, but it's still good.
They're all good. Mission Impossible 2 has that really cool motorcycle chase, doesn't it?
Motorcycle chase is crazy, so bonkers.
Good. So good.
I think I own that on DVD.
Oh, yeah.
And none of the others.
The one singular episode of Mission Impossible series. Part 2, John Woo.
I have part 2. That's all I know.
There you go.
Phil, have you seen anything? Any TV? I know you're a big TV guy. Any TV? Hey, did you guys see Kevin James has a new special?
I watched it.
I saw that.
Oh my God, it's funny. It's really funny. I love him.
It gets funnier. The second half is funnier than he's a little slow getting going, I thought, but yeah, he's got some funny stuff.
He's good. He's funny.
I watched the new John Mulaney stand up.
Oh, that's right. I haven't seen the new one. I haven't seen the new one yet. I like him. He hosted SNL a couple weeks ago, and he was funny. He was funny on there too.
It's a little edgier. I've seen him live. And this seems like he's got a little bit more of a chip on his shoulder than normal.
Yeah.
But I laughed a lot.
Yeah, I like him. I definitely think he's funny. I don't like the. I tried to watch that like improv, maybe not improv, but like that stage show that he does. Oh Hey There with Nick Kroll.
I don't know that one.
It's on Netflix. They do like this impromptu stage show that came out of a sketch that they did. They turned it into a whole stage show, and it's not very funny. It's like they play like two really old Jewish guys.
Yeah, yeah. I saw the beginning of that. I turned it off. I didn't like it.
Yeah, it wasn't funny at all. But I do like Mulaney. So Solo. Let's hit Solo real quick before we jump into our topic, because as we are recording this and people are listening to it, Solo is out next week. So what's our temperature on Solo? Phil, what about you?
I'm a little cold on it.
Yeah? Are you planning to see it in the theater?
I gotta be honest with you. I don't know if I am.
What?
I don't know if I am.
This was really? You're not going to go see it? Did you see all the other Star Wars movies in the theater that you've been alive for?
Yes. Here's what'll happen. I'll think about going to see it. My son will go see it with his friends, and I'll lose all incentive to go because I won't have anybody to go with, and he probably won't want to see it twice. And
you need friends, man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna cry again.
I go by myself all the time.
But I do have friends here in Midland. But
Chris says that with such like pride. I go by myself all the time.
I love going to the
cried
movies
about
by myself.
that once.
I love going to the movies by myself.
I don't mind going to the movies by myself, but if I'm going, but if I'm going by myself, it just feels like a huge expenditure of time, selfish time that I don't really have time for. So if I can leverage a movie, 2-3 hour experience to spend time with one of the kids or with my wife, like that helps. Yeah. But to just be like, hey, peace out. I know you've been with these guys for 10 hours, but I'm going to go do another 2 by myself.
Yeah, no, I get that. I get that.
Work.
Yeah, and that's why I normally take my kids, because, I get that. I fully get that.
But Solo, I mean, I don't get, like, I just don't know why we need a lot of backstory for Han Solo.
No, I get all that. I get all the arguments for not having them, but they're gonna have them. Let's just be honest. They're coming.
Yeah. So, Donnie, how about you?
I'm warming up to it. Yeah. I saw the preview again at Infinity War, and I picked up a couple nuances in the trailer that I hadn't seen before. I'm in. I'm gonna go see it for sure. I mean, I was gonna see it anyway. Slap Star Wars on it, and I'm dummy me. I'm gonna go see it unless it's animated.
I am red hot for this. I think I'm more excited about this than I was Infinity War. I cannot wait.
I'm not sure that's possible, Chris.
I'm telling you, I'm super pumped for Solo.
Okay.
So I got.
Give me your number one reason why, other than that it's a Star Wars movie. What about if you took Solo off the title and you just said whatever?
But you just ruined it. It is a Star Wars movie. That's the whole point.
Yeah, I mean
that's it. So that's it for you guys.
Yeah, it's tied into these characters.
I'll give you some. I mean, I love Donald Glover. I think Donald Glover is mesmerizing. Anything I see him do, I am completely just enamored with.
You mean Childish Gambino?
Childish Gambino, absolutely. Okay. I think he's great. I think he's great. I like what they've done to this point, this new era of Star Wars movies, so I have no reason to doubt the production value, and seeing the production value so far, just in the trailers and stuff, looks great. I like what he heard. I think it's a good cast. But, I mean, honestly, Han Solo is probably my favorite Star Wars character. And I mean, as a kid.
So you're not worried that this will ruin Han Solo?
Oh, absolutely not. No. No. And here's the thing. I am of the mind that I want these characters to be around for as long as possible, like forever. I mean, I'm of the mindset that I don't need Indiana Jones to be to be Harrison Ford. I would be fine if they made an Indiana Jones movie every 3 years for the rest of my life.
And like Bond, like a Bond
like a
style
Bond.
character.
And I mean, I would be fine, you know. Unfortunately, because Star Wars is so tied into a timeline, they're not going to be able to do a lot of that. But I honestly think they could get a trilogy out of Han Solo, and I don't know that they won't try.
It is Disney. So
it is Disney, but I mean he's he's young, and we don't know exactly, and maybe we do know. I haven't looked into it as much because I'm trying to go in pretty fresh, but
you are pretty fresh, buddy.
But thank you. But yeah, I mean, we don't know the exact timeline between when this stops and when he's going to jump into New Hope. So we may have 5-6 years that we could tell another couple stories in. He's the smuggler. He can do heist movies. He can do like that kind of stuff, smaller scale. This is the thing. Not everything in Star Wars has to be giant, and so far it has. What excites me is this is a much smaller story than really anything that we've seen up to right now, because it's just, he's not fighting the galaxy. I mean, he's just in with some smugglers, and and he's doing his thing. So
I think my favorite line from the trailer is when he says, "I gotta say, I think I have a pretty good feeling about this."
Which is so
like, yes,
so good.
I like that line.
I love when he says, "We're fine." We're fine, because it's a callback to Star Wars. I love it.
We're all fine here.
I do like that the Millennium Falcon is new.
Yeah, man, I love it, and that it's Lando's.
It'd be good.
I honestly, I mean, they're hinting heavily that that scene with him and Lando around the table is probably the scene where he wins the Falcon. But I almost hope that's like at the very end, because I want it to be Lando's Falcon for the majority of the movie. I want the whole thing to be they're on a journey together,
Do you think that the dice play into that? Maybe those are the dice that he wins it with.
Dice? God, yeah. I hope, dude. I cannot wait for this movie. I think it's great. Han's kind of story that we know that has been told before, and even though it's not all canon anymore, but that he was basically a dropout from the Empire's flight academy. So he wanted to be a pilot for the Empire, but he couldn't take orders, and so he basically got expelled from the academy, and he just kind of becomes a lone gun, and
he couldn't take orders.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm into
get a hamburger.
I'm into the street
That's a
racing.
good joke.
Thank you very much.
I'm into the street racing speeders. I'm into.
See, that's the weak part to me of the trailer.
I'm into all of it. All right, that's enough of that. We need to jump into our topic. So
okay.
As we do every week, this is a show about movies. So this is episode 6, and we are talking about the 1982 classic John Carpenter's The Thing.
I know I'm human. And if you were all these things, then you'd just attack me right now. So some of you are still human. This thing doesn't want to show itself. It wants to hide inside an imitation. It'll fight if it has to, but it's vulnerable out in the open. If it takes us over, then it has no more enemies. Nobody left to kill it. And then it's won.
Donnie, take it away.
Yes, it is classic. It is the 1982 John Carpenter's The Thing, not to be confused with a more recent update also called The Thing, and also an older version called The Thing from Outer Space. It is starring Kurt Russell, which you know already, and him and John Carpenter teamed up several times. Wilford Brimley is in this, if you know who that is. He's an older dude from Cocoon. And Keith David, who I loved in this movie. Also, he is not to be confused with David Keith, who is a different guy, who was in Daredevil, by the way. This is Keith David. basically, Chris already read the synopsis last week. A crew in Antarctica finds a neighboring camp destroyed and its crew is dead. Whatever killed them is nowhere to be found unless it's hidden in plain sight. Basically, what we have here is in my opinion, one of the probably top 5, top 3 maybe, sci-fi, thriller, horror genre movies. It is, in my opinion, if you are a movie buff, is a must-see. It has to be on your must-see before you die list. It's creepy. It is gory. I mean, you are going to see some stuff that you've never seen before. Probably not since either. But it stands, man. I watched it again the other day. This movie stands the test of time. The effects are top notch still today. You guys agree? I mean, they're great.
Yeah,
we'll talk more about that, I'm sure.
We talked about this a little bit, and I forget exactly what the context was. It was a couple weeks ago, but we were talking about how practical effects really make a difference.
Oh, yeah.
Like, practical effects just stand the test of time. And even though you look at them and you know it's not real, it still feels so much more tangible to see.
Oh, it's great.
There's a ton of practical effects.
It's so much in this movie. In fact, I would say this. Let me start with this. I feel like the weakest scene in the whole movie is the opening scene with the flying saucer. I don't like the whole flying saucer scene at the beginning.
I get
you
that.
could have done without it.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure I like the whole flying saucer plot of the whole movie.
Yeah.
Like, if you cut that whole thing out and you just have this thing, running around, you get it. It's like, okay, this thing's not from Earth,
Yeah.
But the first scene in the movie, if you just watch that first minute or two, you're like, oh man, this is kind of sketchy. That flying saucer going into the atmosphere. Yeah. But after that, it's like, oh yeah, here we go. It's all you're all in.
It almost felt like they shot the whole movie and they were like, there may be a few people that don't get that it's an alien. Let's just real quick add this.
You nailed it. I thought that too. It's like, they added this on.
Yeah.
Because it just doesn't work in conjunction with the rest of this movie, man.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't. I mean, you really think so? Because, I mean, you've got and this I did not remember from the original viewing years and years ago, because I actually watched this one. He was building that thing in the basement or whatever. I don't remember that. I don't remember them finding him constructing a little flying saucer to get home or whatever.
Oh, you're talking about Wilford Brimley.
Yeah.
Blair. Yeah. I
put down here, I said, dude, my notes are like comments I would make if I was watching it with somebody. Dude, these effects work.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're a huge part of why I love this movie.
So let me jump in here real quick, because of the three of us, if you haven't noticed a pattern on our show, it's that I don't have never watched any of these movies that we watch, and so I've never seen John Carpenter's The Thing. Another note that you probably learned is that I don't really like scary movies, and so that plays into this as well.
You call them creepies, right? Spookies.
Spookies, yeah.
Spookies.
Yeah, spookies. I will say that I watched this twice, and I thought this movie was absolutely brilliant. I don't outside of the music, I don't even think that there's anything I can even say bad.
You didn't like the music?
No, the music
I liked the music. You know who did the music?
No.
You know who did the music?
Who did?
Ennio Morricone from The Untouchables.
Oh god,
did the music.
I loved the music on Untouchables.
You know who normally does John Carpenter's music in his movies?
Who?
John Carpenter. He's a composer. He does most of his own music. I was surprised he didn't do this one.
I put in my notes, the music from this movie feels like a 70s cop show.
Yeah,
I liked it. That's what it felt like.
I thought it was adequately creepy. You just kind of had the dum-dum.
Now, the sound effects I thought were great, but the actual soundtrack itself was not. I thought this movie was great. For the first time in a long time, I literally had to stop it at one point because I felt myself getting sick. this movie is very, very grotesque.
It is.
But man, I really dug it. So anyway, so that's my thought.
Stop it. What scene did you stop? Where were you getting sick?
We can give you some options.
So no. So it's just
face came out of it.
It's so.
Was it the dog scene
It's so freaky weird. It was the scene. So it was clearly the scene where, and again, I don't know all their names. I've only seen it twice now. But where the spider head comes off, when he's ripping the head off, and it's like stringy, and it's.
He's burning it, and the head's rolling off the other side of the desk and crawling over under the chair. Because right before he burns it, it like starts mucusing like some green crap out of it. Then he starts burning it, and then the head like pulls itself off, and it's like all string. It actually gave me a little bit of an alien vibe, like the effects, the tissue and the stringy stuff. So I had to stop.
I let my son watch that whole scene. He doesn't do scary movies. We've kept him away from a lot of that kind of stuff. And I said, "Hey man, come here and watch this." And I made him watch the scene where they go to defibrillate him and the chest caves in and the thing comes out and then his head falls off and spider head and all that stuff.
What do you think?
And he's like, "What is this?" Like, oh my gosh, so weird.
I will never sleep again, Dad. Thank you very much. So it is. There is some grotesque stuff for sure.
But in the second watching, I actually was able to get through that okay. The thing that got me in the second watching was the guy. And again, sorry with the names. I meant to write them down and I didn't. The guy when they're tied to the chairs and they finally figure out it's the guy who's like
Palmer,
and then his whole face starts melting like Indiana Jones style. And Palmer, that was like I don't even mind when his face turns into a mouth and then he eats the other guy and they become one.
Windows,
But it's just the face melting thing that just really
does. Is that Murdoch?
No,
from the 8th.
He does. Okay. He does look like Murdoch.
It's not him.
Yeah.
No,
okay.
I agree.
That guy's name's that's a different guy.
All right, you heard Phil say this up top. Phil has this is episode 5 now, guys. As of right now, Phil has never watched a movie leading up to. He's seen the movies,
right.
But he has never watched the movie leading up to
prepped.
the show. He's never prepped, but he is tonight. So, Phil, what do you got, man? You got a bunch of notes. So, what do you want to talk about?
I mostly just annotated things as I went through the movie. I starting out made the comment that why is this Norwegian dude such a horrible shot?
Totally put terrible aim in my notes.
This guy's
know what? Even more than that, even more than the terrible shooting, which on one scene he shoots from like a mile away, literally.
Yeah.
But how hard is it to just hover over the dog? I mean, it's a dog, right? Running. Yeah.
Well, I wrote,
and you have grenades. Why don't we do that sooner?
I said, guy's a terrible shot. Not even a grenade? ?
Right.
You couldn't hit the dog with a grenade.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought but it was funny. Like filming that, it was probably just like literally they just set a dog loose and said, "Hey, run!
Yeah,
let's chase it with a thing."
Yeah, exactly.
I think the thing about it for me that really, I thought, like I said, the music, the special effects, it was just like I'd seen the movie before, but I remember like really enjoying it. Like I just really liked it. It was fun.
It's really good.
There's no dull moments, man. It's
good.
Yeah,
I love Kurt Russell's great, man. I love Kurt Russell.
Good. Kurt Russell's hat is even better than him in this movie.
I wrote that hat! ! It's like a Western.
I want his hat and dude's vest from the Burbs. I want that outfit for life. Bury me in that.
Okay.
Here's what I wrote.
Okay.
I wrote, I love the spin, right? And what I mean by that is most movies would have taken this topic, because we've seen it before, and they would have found a survivor, right? So they show up at this camp. They're going to find somebody who survived the event, right. And that person turns out to be the alien, or that person turns out to be whatever. And so that I liked. because it also led into the most ridiculous decision of the entire movie, which is they find this mutated, multifaceted being that's froze up, and they're like, let's take it back with us.
Let's bring it back. Way. We all need to see this.
So
I have a question for Chris, though. First time viewer, okay?
Okay.
So when did you, well, I guess they pretty much telegraph that it's the dog. You know it's the dog.
Yeah, you know it's the dog coming in.
But never mind. It's a dumb question.
Okay, so I didn't. You don't get, because you get the scene with the dog later.
You're 40.
Did you know the synopsis of this movie before you watched it?
So not really. No.
Okay.
So what did you think was the deal with the dog?
I didn't think anything about the dog. The dog was a complete.
You bought the ruse.
Yeah. No. Yeah, that works perfectly. Yeah. Coming in, I had no idea. Literally, I was thinking the same thing of actually, my note when I was writing down the first time I saw it, my note was PETA's going to be really happy with this movie.
Because they don't kill the dog.
Because he doesn't. He never shoots the dog.
They get pretty upset.
They do. Yeah, they do.
Just hang on, hang tight.
Okay. So going in, what I knew is that there was an alien that could take over people's bodies. That was the gist of what I knew, and so I actually thought it was. I didn't think that anything about the dog until the dog scene happened. So that was completely lost on me. I was out of it. I just thought that guy was crazy, and which is what they allude to.
Now, does it end up being? I'm trying to remember. Does it end up being it's the dog and the corpse thing, right? They're both.
Yeah, because they
both factor in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember the dog goes into the room and you see the shadow of a guy turn.
Does anything ever come out of the corpse thing that they dissect? Which,
maybe
by the way,
they say it's alive.
Nothing happens with the pilot.
Yeah. Okay.
Not the pilot. That massive.
No, the creature, human monster thing they brought back.
They bring back.
They talk about it being still alive, but maybe nothing does happen with it because they take it out and burn it.
Yeah.
Don't they?
When Brimley is dissecting that thing, he says, "Oh my god!" And then he's like, "Oh,
I wrote down. I think those were real reactions from Brimley. Like he's this old guy, and he's like, "What have I gotten into in this movie?" And it is great. That scene is so great. I love it. He's like, oh.
Yeah.
And then he pulls it back, and there's that head in there that he's like, oh, look at this.
That was really gross too.
But the thing about it too, though, is he's the only one that gets it. He gets what's happening. He's like, oh yeah, this is bad news, man.
Yeah. And then he starts to kill everybody.
Yeah, he thinks they all think he's losing his mind, but he's trying to save the world. He's trying to pull an anti-Avengers and actually save people by sacrificing everyone, including himself. Yeah.
But. This was I love the movie. I really, really liked it. There was one scene that really annoyed me, and it's not for my normal reasons. There's the scene.
You said there wasn't much eating in this movie. There definitely wasn't any child face kissing.
There were no child kissing.
No child kissing. No. Literally, I think this was a great movie. I have no qualms with the movie. But the scene where they bum rush Brimley with the gun, and freaking Kurt Russell's is decking the crap out of him.
He hits him twice. He goes. You hear it. You hear the sound.
But in that scene, right when he goes down, there's 4 other guys, and one of the guys, I'm going to drop the clip right here. So if you're watching this, you're going to see it. But he basically he looks back and flings himself backwards, like he was looking to make sure the mat was there and to fall on the mat. And it's just this one moment that pulls me out of the movie, and I saw it both times. It was so dramatic. It looked like Kobe Bryant.
I'm surprised I missed that.
What's funny, Chris, is you said you really liked the sound effects for this movie, but when he punches Brimley, It's the worst punch effect
and
ever.
it's not. It doesn't add up either. Yeah, like the audio sync's just a little bit off too.
It's it twice. I love that he punches that old dude twice, not once. He's already on the ground, 4 guys on him, but he punches him twice.
So
see, you have a problem. I have a problem. I actually do have a problem. I like the movie, but I have a problem with the fact that they actually let this dog just sort of become a part of their camp. Like the guy was just flying around trying to shoot it. You would assume that it at least has rabies.
But no, but again, and they answer this. They answer this in the movie that they think that he's just lost his mind. He's
got like cabin fever gone nuts.
Because if you think about it, I mean, he as soon as they land, he starts trying to shoot them. I mean, he does shoot one of them.
He does shoot. Yeah, he shoots Bennings.
So I mean, so this guy lands a helicopter in your backyard, shoots one of your guys. You're not going to think, oh, that dog, got to watch out for him. No, you're going to think, this guy's crazy.
That scene leads to the what's his name, Gary, like
the gun, yeah,
unnecessarily like breaking out the entire window.
He nails that dude right in the head.
You live where it's going to be 100 below. You might want that window.
Well, yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, I didn't even think of that.
Okay, so this actually does bring probably the thing that I couldn't wrap my head around. The thing that kept pulling me out a little bit. I think that they're never dressed well enough. Like, isn't Antarctica supposed to be like, if any of your skin is exposed, that you can?
No, I don't think it's that. Like, not
really?
Like immediate.
Oh, okay.
I don't think so.
I thought it was. Okay.
At night, maybe. Yeah, but I don't think in the daytime.
And you get that sense when Kurt Russell comes back and he looks like snow.
Oh yeah,
he sure does.
Hey, on that scene too, where Gary fires the gun and kills the dude, Palmer makes a comment. He goes, "Oh, I was wondering when Captain was going to get to shoot his pop gun or whatever," like kind of like making fun of it. And I'm thinking, dude, that guy was about to blast you guys. What do you want him to do? Of course he's going to shoot the guy. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Well, whatever.
And don't they tell the guy that gets shot in the leg, like when they're walking back, he's like, it's not that bad. Or they tell him something.
He says that. He says it. He's like, no, I'm okay. I'm all right.
That's right. Oh, that's right.
And they're like, oh,
you got shot in the leg, bro.
You've been shot. I think this is one of the great creepy environments, though, of any movie. This setting,
the whole camp
it's
setup,
pretty great. The whole Antarctic camp, dark,
Yeah,
dude, I love everything about this set. Like, it's everything I want my basement to be. Like the vintage vinyl couch,
yes, dude.
The ping pong table,
chess master.
Yeah, man.
Hey, Kurt Russell, you might want to play that again. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna be there a while.
Yeah.
Come on, man. You got to think these things through. Punching old guys, short-circuiting computers.
So I was a little confused by the passage of time. Is that sometimes it felt like we cut and then they're like days later and they don't really. I don't know.
They don't really
must have been because Brimley was out there for a while.
I know. Yeah, that was really.
Yeah, but he was the alien then, right? At some point.
See, here's the thing. I'm
assuming the alien can do all that stuff a lot faster than Brimley.
Well, yeah, he does it at the end. Remember, it's like
tunnel. Yeah, he digs that tunnel and he builds the ship and all that.
So what's interesting about this movie too is you never really know.
No, you never know
when somebody became the thing. They do a really good job of like.
Yeah.
Well,
I still don't know. I don't even know who the first victim was. I don't think. Maybe I do. I guess it was the guy that shot.
I did write. Kurt smoked that dude, Clark.
Yeah.
When he comes bum rushing.
Oh, when he shot him? Yeah.
Human. He's just like, wow.
Bam. Just done right to the head, dude.
Blasted.
So we'll go ahead because I want to piggyback off what Donnie just said, and so we'll jump to the end. But are you confident that either or neither of those guys are the thing?
No. I think that's the edge. You're supposed to be left on that edge, right? The cliffhanger. Man.
Well, they're both going to die no matter what. I mean, they're
right. But if they only freeze to death, the thing is preserved.
They'll hang tight. Well, for years I had heard the theory was that if you watch Childs, there's no breath, and that's mostly true. But he does have one scene where he does breathe a little breath that comes out. Kurt Russell's breathing like mad. It's just coming out.
Yeah.
And Childs doesn't for the longest time during that conversation. But there is a scene where all of a sudden a little bit comes out, and you're like, oh, there's that idea. So
I love that scene when I don't know which one's which, where he's changing into a person, and he's and his fingers are a foot long. Those sound effects were awesome.
When he goes running outside, that guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, it's gross, man.
Well, okay, here's another question. It was bugging me, and I finally figured it out. The doctor, which, by the way, is Richard Dysart. You've met him, Phil, by the way, in
I was
going to
say, I met him in Hollywood on the set of
LA
Law.
Set. Yep. But, okay, so I keep seeing this, glittery-looking thing on his face. And what is that? On the side of his nose. And I'm looking, and 2 different scenes I see this, and I'm like, what is it? So I look, and he has a big old nose ring going.
Oh, that's funny.
Check it out, I'm telling you. Especially when they're talking about who had the key to the blood fridge or whatever. You can really see it. And he's got a big old nose ring. This is 1982, and that dude's in his 60s. It's really? A nose ring? Seems an odd choice, but whatever. I'm not sure in Antarctica I'd want to have metal in my face that gets cold, but whatever, anyway.
Okay, do we know how many things there were in the movie?
Nope. No clue.
Depends on whose theory you go with.
Okay, well, see, here,
one.
This is my question. Yeah, well, he said, everybody's fighting for themselves. But, okay, so the dog goes into a room, and you see the shadow of somebody turn on the bed. You don't know who that is. But then, so you think, okay, well, that's somebody that got turned there, right? For sure.
We know who that is.
Who is it?
He's the... Because...
the Murdoch-looking guy?
No, he's the guy who takes Kurt Russell out to the car to tell him about what's going on.
Fuchs. You think that's Fuchs?
Yeah,
he's a thing the whole time? The whole movie?
I don't know.
I don't think that's right.
I'll have to watch back again.
Because the first guy we see as the Thing is Bennings when he's in the storage room, and he says, "Oh, go ahead, I'm going to get some stuff out of here." And then the guy comes back, and his clothes are all jacked up, and he sees him running outside. That's when Phil's talking about with the big hand.
Yeah,
he's
he's
freaking out.
Yeah.
Well, that's the first guy we see as the Thing. So there has to be at least 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
The dog turns. Yeah.
Why was it spraying the dog with weird urine?
I don't know. I don't know if that was acid or what, man.
Because it was being all glommed up, right? That was so weird.
It's crazy.
Well, because so wait, so they kill. Okay, so wait a second. Because they kill the first one. They take them out. They burn them. Right.
That's Bennings. Yep.
Okay, Bennings. They kill the fat guy that eats the hands, the spider head.
Yeah.
They kill him. So that's
no, 2. He dies.
Sure, but
he has a heart attack and dies.
Sure,
but it was a thing.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, but he was a thing. So then they kill that spider head, right? Kurt Russell.
Yes, they blast that.
So that's 2 that they kill, and then we have the one that is tied up.
Palmer on the couch,
who turns, and then he flies to the ceiling. And then he turns windows, but then both of them get burned.
They both get burned.
Okay, so wait a second. So does he...
Blair, though, is the key. Blair gets turned somewhere up in his cabin at some point.
Okay. So answer me this, because maybe
he might have been turned the whole time.
Maybe I missed this. Okay, so when they are they turning people into them, or do they just
kill them and
take over? That's what I don't understand. So okay. So if Thing,
I think it's a symbiote.
If Thing 1 comes up to
Venom
to Jim and he touches Jim, does Jim become Thing 2, or is he still Thing 1? And then when Jim touches another guy, is that
When did
just
this become Cat in the Hat?
See, I think, yeah, Chris, because I think what happens eventually, because I think this is the image you get at the very end. If there were multiples, once they've wiped everything out, I think they come back together as one large organism. I think they're absorbing the cells of other
So it is one thing.
in order to grow, in order to become one large. The ability to have one large.
So it is one thing.
Because remember at the end, there's like a dog coming out of it, and there's like
it has a bunch of different stuff. Yeah, looks like Blair's head is on there.
So then the idea would be they're basically just creating extensions of themselves. So it's really just
That's
one
what I
thing.
took it.
It's like hive mind. It's like a symbiote.
The Borg.
So the thing is one
the
thing.
Borg.
So you would almost even argue that whatever was on that spaceship was just one thing, and it just
Seems to be.
grows itself out.
Yeah, but there are distinctively, definitely two different dudes that are the thing at the beginning, or not at the beginning, but the first.
Sure.
The one the dog turns, and then Benning's in the storage room. Two different guys that both got turned.
Sure.
Do you think Brimley is a thing all the time, the whole time he's in the shed,
No.
or do you think somebody went out and turned him?
Somebody went out there and turned him, I think.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Because he was trying to shoot everyone. Okay, so here's another question
All right.
that I kind of got confused about. Do the things know that they're things?
Yeah,
That
but
is
I
a
think
good
they're
question.
hiding. I think they're hiding.
Okay, no, okay. Do the
Norris
people,
doesn't
do the
seem
people
to
know
know.
that they're things? Is
Norris
what I'm
doesn't.
asking.
The guy who dies of the heart attack doesn't seem to know. Like he just kind of goes out, like, "Oh, I'm dead." I don't know. That's a good question. I never really thought about it. The awareness of the host, so to speak,
Yeah.
like Bruce Banner and Hulk kind of thing. Maybe they're like,
I think they know because it's the things that the guys that are things that are never that don't have that nervous look on their face when they're about to touch the blood with the hot thing. It's only the actual humans, or they're like Windows is like, am I one? I don't know if I'm one.
yeah, but that's reverse of what Chris is asking. The humans may not know, but do the things know?
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
Like the humans may be questioning their own reality, like, "Oh, crud, am I one of them?" Like,
So that's what I'm getting at. Because like the whole entire time, okay. So again, I didn't know a lot going into this movie, and I kind of wanted to go into it fresh. So the whole entire time, I thought, because Kurt Russell spends the entire movie telling you he is not one, I thought it was going to come. I thought like the finale was going to be he actually was a thing.
what do you think about the ending? Did you like the way it ended? The ambiguity of it?
Absolutely love it. I honestly think this is one of the best. You know, you said sci-fi horror. I mean, I don't know that this is classified as. Is this classified as horror?
I think it kind of falls in that
I didn't
category.
really feel like it was that.
Anything with that much
scary.
blood is probably.
Yeah, I didn't think it was
considered.
that scary, but it was definitely grotesque as can be. But yeah, I mean, I thought it was. Yeah, this is a great, great movie. Yeah. But yeah, and I love. Here's one of the things that Phil kind of mentioned this earlier, but to just kind of come back to it. What I love about movies like this, and we talk about this a lot when we talk about like Back to the Future, is that. And Donnie, you even mentioned this, that we didn't really even need the spaceship. I love that they just let the audience figure crap out, you know, and then and maybe not even figure. How does time travel work? You know, it doesn't matter. Like you can enjoy the movie without having everything explained to you. And we live in a day now where if this movie came out, we would have a giant, scene on their home planet and why they left, and we would have all this.
Or worse, you'd have a stinger that gave you the answer.
Yeah.
That left you going
exactly.
Oh.
Yeah, like I like movies like this that just are like. just like the dog thing. I had no idea that the dog was in the beginning, and it was like, today, you would basically you would have him radio be like, I got the alien dog. He's in my sight. Just to let you know that it was an alien dog, but they don't do that here, and they just kind of let you go, and they let you be, have your own thoughts about the movie, and I like that, and I love the ending. I thought the ending was great because I don't know what I feel like at least one of them is the Thing. Like I feel like the Thing wins. I feel like when the credits roll, the whole world is destroyed. Like I feel like 10 years from now, the Thing is taking over Earth, and that's kind of in my mind where it goes. But anyway, so coming back to the point, like I feel like Kurt Russell the whole entire movie he says I'm not one. I know I'm not. So what I was hoping was not hoping, but kind of where my mind was is I thought he was gonna find out at the end that he actually was, and that because then that flips the mindset that you don't even know. You could be a Thing, but your mind, you don't even know.
His last scene could be him sitting there looking at Charles, and all of a sudden he's like, oh snap. And then he realizes, oh crud. Yeah. And you see him fading out, and you see the Thing taking over. Yeah. Yeah, that would be interesting. So that'd be good.
Because that's what I thought. That's where I thought we were going. So
I think along those lines though, Chris, there were some things that I'm with you. You can just sort of accept, because there's no rhyme or reason to how this beast functions. Yeah. Sometimes it uses these tentacles to grab onto you. Sometimes it splits your face wide open and turns that into a mouth, or turns your chest into a mouth. So sometimes it eats you. Sometimes it absorbs you. I don't understand. What is it doing?
It's nutballs. It's so crazy. All the different iterations of that creature in this movie, man.
I think being a special effects guy in this movie was probably so fun.
This is one of the reasons. This is one of the reasons I wanted to do that. Was this movie right here?
So good.
It's like those guys must have had a blast, man. Yes. Yeah. Stan Winston and all them dudes. Yeah. Carpenter sat down and was like, "Just give it to me, man. Just do go crazy." And he's like, "All right, let's do it."
I really dig the animation at the end when they're in the cave, and he assimilates that one person where he sticks his hands on his face, and then it just kind of melts into his face, and then he's dragging him just by the skin on his face. Oh,
that is so weird. That is such a weird looking scene, man.
I wrote when Brimley comes around the corner and put his hand on that guy's face, I wrote in big block letters, "Brimley, no!"
All right,
you turned.
I love Brimley in this movie. He's awesome.
Great.
Question. Yeah. Back to the effects. All right, put your thinking caps on. Okay. What's your favorite one? What's your favorite part of the effects wise? You got the dog scene with all that happening. The dog change.
I like
the CPR scene.
I like the thing.
Crawling head, spider head.
The defibrillator / chest mouth / head spider. That whole.
You don't get to pick all of them. You got to pick.
It's all one big transformation.
But they're all special effects. They're all different effects.
Yeah.
Oh, then the head falling off.
Okay,
that's a good gross pus that Chris got sick on.
Do you like the tongue shooting out and grabbing the chair? Whoosh, pulling itself over.
Yeah.
I would have to go with.
Noticed it. I wish the scene was them all chatting and the little spider head just marching off.
And I remembered it being that way before, but then when I saw this on the guy, but I do remember the guy going, "Oh, you got to be kidding me!" You got to be kidding me. Because that's what you're thinking when you're watching it. You got to be kidding me.
I remember when the dog scene went down, they're like, "What is it?" And the guy, I wrote this down too. He said, "I don't know, but it's weird and pissed off."
Yeah,
it's not that term. It's weird. Not oh my word, it's
weird.
It's just
not.
Weird.
It's destroying everything in its path.
I don't know. It's weird. Pissed off.
What about you, Don? Favorite special effect?
The CPR, man. When he goes in with the paddles and the mouth just goes. So how does Copper die from that?
And that's not even the the to me the hard part of that is that his hands are ripped off from the elbows.
Right on.
Oh, jeez.
I think that's my favorite because it's totally unexpected. You're just the way it opens up and caves in. You're just like, what? But see, he dies from that. It's like, really?
But I mean,
you died from getting your arms bit
pretty
off?
quick if your arms
I figured
got
you'd probably bleed out pretty quick.
At least pass
Should have
out.
told somebody to flamethrower him real quick. They're flamethrowing everything else. Might as well flamethrow his arm. I mean, they flamethrow through everything in this movie, which I love.
They have a flamethrower or 2 or 10,
dude.
There was enough for everybody to be like strapped up with one.
There was so much flamethrowers in this movie.
Yeah, for me, I think I go back. I think that finger to the face scene. I think the effects in that are just
he was just dragging him across, like
dragging him by the fingers.
His face,
exactly,
right?
Yeah.
Well, Brimley, when he's doing it, he's just got that blank stare on his face too. He's like,
that's why.
Yeah.
Brimley, no. Wait, we haven't even talked about the blood test scene though. That's awesome.
That's a great scene.
I love the methodology of it. It's like, okay, let's figure it out this way. It makes sense.
It makes absolute sense.
And then when that blood jumps out of that cup, you're like, oh.
The sound effect there is like, wah! Like it makes that loud screechy sound.
And that's what I mean when I'm talking about like sounds. Like the punching sound sucks, but like the sound they gave the thing, I thought was just eerie enough to really kind of fit. But yeah, so okay, but you're talking about the blood scene. Let me tell you so I take it back. I do have a slight problem with this movie.
Okay.
And my problem is, why did they slice their thumb or their finger so dang much? All you had to do is poke it. He's like freaking filleting his hand to get
the scalpel.
It's bad. It is bad. There's some other movie I can't think of off the top of my head that did that same thing. It was like they were doing some kind of blood vow and they were just going to like cut their palms. And one dude just goes like, it's like, why are you doing that? You're not going to be able to use that hand for weeks.
Was that not in Predator?
It could have been. They had one like that in there.
I think I'm thinking of a movie where
Chris, though.
It's brutal.
Like, I mean, my grandfather used to every morning just poke his finger and take his blood sugar. Like, how hard is that? Don't slice.
And you don't need a whole. You don't need a whole beaker full. You just need like a little bit, a drop. It's all the same.
That was painful, man. Yeah. That was and they did it. They showed it close up twice, and both times it was
too much.
Slow.
Well, they did it because they had a blood tube there that was squirting out. I watched the commentary on part of it.
Why? Yeah. Gross. Anyway, but that scene was cool. Yeah, where he's, I love. Yeah, it was just intense, man. Like it was so good. Yeah, because you kept thinking you knew who it was going to be every time, and you're like, well, it wasn't him. Yeah.
Like
and the reactions on the couch.
You thought Clark was going to be one because he got shot in the head. And you wanted him to absolve Kurt Russell of his guilt.
And Blair is the one. Blair was like, "Watch Clark. Watch Clark."
Yeah.
But
it's one of those great. Yeah, it's one of those great things though that they set enough of a precedent that you understand what's happening, but you still have no idea. Like at that moment, you're just as clueless as the lead character with who and again, this is where I thought it was going to be Kurt Russell, but they didn't even test his. Oh no! Oh, they did. No, they did.
Yeah, he did. He said, "I'm going to do I'm going to show you what I already know." That's right. And he does his own blood.
I thought he was. I really thought he was going to be one, but yeah.
But that would be pretty wild if he didn't know right there, and then his blood jumped out, and you're like, "Oh, what is that?"
For some reason, I thought that's what happened, as I remember it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I thought Kurt Russell's blood. I thought at some point we find out for sure that Kurt Russell is a thing.
Yeah.
Nope.
But we don't.
Yeah. I love their couch reactions. The guys that are tied on the couch when that guy starts turning, they're like trying to push away from him. They're like. Like bouncing the couch across the floor.
When that guy finally goes, I don't want to spend the rest of the winter tied to this freaking couch.
Right. Yeah, Gary. That's
his
funny.
Eyebrows.
Oh, that guy's eyebrows. Also, on that same scene, when Palmer gets up and jumps into the roof, I guess, and he comes back down and grabs windows with his head and just starts
swinging them around like manhandle.
That is so over the top amazing. It's just so crazy. You're like, no way someone thought this up, but they did. There it is.
I wish we had an old Fangoria magazine.
Oh man, I do somewhere
About this magazine, about this movie.
I might somewhere. It's great. I love it.
We need to probably wrap here in a second. Let me ask you this, and Donnie, I know you sometimes do research, so you may already know this. Do you know this movie opened number 2 at the box office in 1982? Do you know the movie it came behind?
E.T.
No, not the same week. E.T. was
Blade Runner.
E.T. was 2 weeks before. Yeah, Blade Runner. This opened the exact same day as Blade Runner. This movie Blade Runner came out.
Well, that's what a lot of people blame for it kind of not being a big hit was that it opened at the wrong time.
Yeah.
So.
But get this. So you had 4 weeks before this. So this is the way it went. You had Poltergeist.
Yep.
2 weeks after that, you had E.T. And then 2 weeks after that, you had John Carpenter's The Thing and Blade Runner.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man. Those are great. All of those are great movies.
Well, think about you don't get big box office horror movies like that anymore.
No, I mean
you had Poltergeist at the. I mean, you do get some just not the same kind of
No, I agree.
It's not the same kind of stuff.
No, I feel like Get Out was in that same caliber last year, and
I didn't see that.
And but yeah, like you don't get that. Yeah, you definitely don't get that a lot. Not anymore. All right. So, any final thoughts before we give our reviews? Look, I thought this was great. I really this is one.
You're welcome.
This is I've grown to love Raising Arizona because I love sand. But this movie is a movie that from the very first time I watched, I thought it was great. Like this is a movie that if you haven't seen, you need to see it. It is hard to watch in some places because it's very gross. So
it's not for the weak, faint of heart, I guess.
I think it's not hard. I think it's stomach.
Have you seen Big Trouble in Little China, which is Carpenter and Kurt Russell?
I've heard that's a classic, is what I hear, but I've never watched. Oh, no,
Phil.
My final thought on it is after the blood tests, no one would have been out of my sight. Nobody.
No, I know, and they do that after the thing.
Yeah.
He leaves.
Childs is in the room by himself watching outside. You're like, why are you? What?
Absolutely.
Nope.
That
No way.
as soon as he did that, I said that. I'm like, no, you are a freaking buddy system at this point.
Yeah.
No, you're one. You're your own organism. You stay together. Everybody together.
Yeah. No, I agree with that for sure.
The effects and Kurt Russell make this movie. I love this movie. I love the practical effects. I love the methods that they use. I love the creepiness. I love the creature and all the different changes. It's great.
Yeah.
I love it.
I agree. I think it's great. Phil, what you got? Any final thoughts?
No, man, it was really cool. Like I hadn't seen it in a long time, which is, why I watched it and it held up big time. Like I was like, man, this movie is really, really good. I remember it didn't scare me. I'm not scared of it at all because I've seen it and I've seen, obviously other things that are scary, but I remember not remembering enough of what happens to still be like, what's happening? Like, what's going to happen? What's next? No, I liked it. I liked it a lot. It harkened back for me to unfortunately my young childhood when I watched a lot of this kind of stuff.
Way before you should have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kruger, Freddy Krueger and
You're welcome.
Action Jackson.
I had nothing to do with Action Jackson. That was not my fault.
I did do a little quick looking on John Carpenter, and I remember that he made a movie with Bon Jovi called Vampires, which was actually pretty good.
I liked that movie.
But I like vampire movies a lot. Old school vampire movies. New school, post-Twilight vampire movies are stupid.
Oh, turds. Giant turds.
They've ruined the genre.
All right. This is how we end the show each and every week, and that's we like to give a rating that is comical. It does not mean anything, but it's fun to do, and it relates to the movie. So I'm going to go to, this was Donnie's choice, so I'm going to go over to Donnie. Donnie, how would you rate John Carpenter's The Thing?
I'm going to rate it 99 dripping flares because that is how many there were of those in this film. I wrote in my notes, flares are dangerous.
Dude,
they drip a lot.
They have so many flares.
Kurt Russell held a flare inches from dynamite.
Yeah. Good.
And you're telling me not one spark?
Wait. No, I watched the commentary of. Okay, remember when it was at Palmer? I think he threw him outside, or he ran outside, and Kurt Russell throws the stick of dynamite. And it blows up almost immediately.
Yeah,
that happened. He threw that, and it blew up that quick.
Oh,
I was like, you gotta be kidding me. But that was real, man.
Wild Wild West, man.
It's crazy.
Wild West of filmmaking days.
Go through and count the dripping flares in this movie. There are so many flares in this movie.
Dude,
99.
By the way, 99. Kurt Russell's ability to roll a bundle of dynamite that wouldn't roll like a can of Coke right under a saucer. Perfect.
Just throws it down the tunnel. Man. What do you expect?
All right, Phil, how would you rate John Carpenter's The Thing?
3,804 nasty deep thumb cuts. The second one, by the way, looked like he was going to cut his thumbnail off.
He did. He put it right up under the thumbnail. Why are you doing it right there? He must not have liked that guy. He's like, I'll show you.
Those are super duper painful, for sure.
Right in the fingertip? Like, if you're going to get that much blood, do it on your palm or something. Where, like,
do it right in the middle of the finger.
How bad that would hurt?
Oh, gosh. Yeah, it would hurt a lot. Chris, what's your rating for this fine classic film?
So I think that this is a masterpiece of a film. So I would probably have to give it. Let's see, what's a good number? How about 327 winter onesies?
Winter onesies.
Also known as.
Oh, man.
Long Johns.
Long Johns. Yeah. So it was great. Listen, we hope you guys enjoyed the show. This is a great movie. If you haven't seen this, we would highly recommend that you watch John Carpenter's The Thing. I've watched it twice in preparation for this, and I'm glad that I did. It is definitely a movie that I'm glad that I can say that I now have seen, and I think that it is it's great. So we're going to wrap up here. We are a weekly podcast. Again, we appreciate you guys for sticking around and listening. We hope that you enjoy the show. I'm going to tell you that you can follow us on Twitter at Real Amigos, and please join the Facebook group. That is the place that we're going to be hanging out and sharing information and kind of talking to you guys and talking about movies and whatever else comes up. You can follow Phil on Twitter at Phil Miles, FILMILES. You can follow Donnie on Twitter at Miles_Donnie. That's Donnie with an IE. You can follow me on Twitter at NeoLego. If you are watching on YouTube, again, we ask that you subscribe and like the video. I will ask you this.
Do it.
If you were to rate The Thing, drop us a line down below in the comments. Let us know how you would rate it. And if you are listening on iTunes, we would appreciate you maybe rating the show there, if you will. That always helps us as well. But for Donnie and for Phil, this is episode 6 of Real Amigos, the one about John Carpenter's The Thing. And we will see you guys next week. Bye.
Adios.
Bye.